$1 million Ferrari. A ruined engineer. A hidden truth buried for years. What happened next changed everything. 6 engineers stood in the private garage of Marsh Automotive, their faces drawn tight under the fluorescent lights. Vivian Marsh watched them shake their heads one by one as her father's 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO sat silent on the lift. The engine had sputtered its last breath 3 days ago, and every specialist in the country had failed to revive it. This was the car her father had driven on the day he proposed to her mother. The car that held 40 years of family legacy in its elegant curves and hand-stitched leather seats. The board of directors needed her to present it at Pebble Beach in 2 weeks, or they would vote to sell the company her father had spent his life building. Vivian pressed her palm against the cold hood and whispered, "There must be someone who can fix her." Behind her, Rosa, the family's longtime housekeeper, pressed a worn business card into her hand. Harov Auto Works. We fix what others can't. 6 certified engineers had walked away from that Ferrari, and a housekeeper handed her a card for a small-town mechanic nobody had heard of. The address took Vivian 40 minutes outside Charlotte, past strip malls and auto parts stores, into a neighborhood where chain-link fences framed overgrown lawns. She pulled her black Mercedes to a stop in front of a cinder block building with 2 garage bays and a hand-painted sign reading Harov Auto Works in faded blue letters. A rusted vending machine hummed near the entrance. This could not be the place. Inside, a pair of legs in oil-stained jeans extended from beneath a primer gray Chevelle, missing its rear bumper. Nearby, a little girl sat cross-legged on a milk crate, flipping through a picture book of vintage cars. Her hair was in uneven pigtails, and her shirt read, "Future Engineer." She looked up. "Are you here to get your car fixed?" Vivian hesitated, taking in the cluttered space. The tools were old but meticulously organized. Every wrench, every socket, in its place. "I need someone who actually knows what they're doing," Vivian said. The words came out sharper than intended. The mechanic slid out from beneath the car. Cole Harov stood, tall and broad-shouldered, wiping his hands on a worn rag. His face carried the weight of someone who had endured real hardship. "What kind of car?" he asked calmly. "A Ferrari. A 250 GTO. 1962. He went still. "What's wrong with it?" "No one knows. It misfires. Timing is inconsistent. Every expert says something different." Cole didn't react with excitement or greed. He simply asked questions. "When did it start? How does it sound? What happens as it warms up? Has anyone checked the fuel delivery from the tank forward?" Vivian found herself answering, realizing no one else had asked these things. "Daddy fixed a car the museum couldn't fix," the little girl said proudly. "He listened to it for 3 days." Vivian smiled faintly. "What's your name?" "Lily. I'm 9. She held up 9 fingers. Cole rested a hand on her shoulder. "I appreciate you coming out," he said, "but I don't work on cars like that anymore." The rejection hit hard. "Why not?" He didn't answer. Then Lily started coughing. It escalated quickly into a wheeze. Her chest heaved as panic filled her eyes. Cole moved instantly, pulling an inhaler from his pocket, guiding her through each breath with quiet precision. "Slow breaths, that's it. Hold it, good girl." Vivian stood frozen, watching his composure break into raw fear. After a moment, Lily steadied. "I'm okay, Daddy." He kissed her forehead, still shaken. That's when Vivian noticed the photograph on the wall. A younger Cole, clean-shaven, wearing a Ferrari uniform, standing beside a race car. "You used to work for Ferrari," she said. His jaw tightened. "That was a long time ago." Vivian left, but she wasn't done. 2 days later, she had the truth. Cole Harov had been a rising star in automotive engineering until he was accused of stealing proprietary designs. The case collapsed, but his reputation didn't survive. He lost his career, his marriage, everything. Vivian returned to the garage. "I know what happened to you," she said. "The charges were dropped." "It doesn't matter," Cole replied. "People believe what they want." "I don't care about that," she said. "I care if you can fix my car." He studied her. "Why does it matter so much?" "Because it was my father's," she said, her voice breaking. "It's the last piece of him I have." Silence hung between them. "I'll pay you triple," she added. "And I'll provide full health insurance for you and Lily for 5 years." His expression shifted at the mention of his daughter. "I work alone," he said finally. "Done." The Ferrari arrived 2 days later. Cole walked around it slowly, reverently. then placed his hands on the hood and closed his eyes. "She's been trying to tell someone what's wrong," he said softly. No one listened. For the first time in weeks, Vivian felt hope. Days passed. Cole worked with quiet intensity, speaking to the car like it was alive. On the fourth day, he found the problem. "A microscopic fracture," he explained. "It only appears when the engine reaches full temperature." Vivian stared at the nearly invisible crack. "They were fixing what they assumed was broken," Cole said. The car was telling the truth the whole time. Meanwhile, Lily and Vivian grew close. Vivian told her stories about her father, about the company, about love expressed through machines. Then everything changed. Gerald Fitch, the company's CFO, confronted Vivian. "He's a disgraced engineer," Fitch warned. "Get rid of him." Instead, Vivian dug deeper. That night, Cole revealed the truth. He had been framed. The real culprit, David Reiser, had stolen his work and used connections to shift the blame. Vivian made a decision. "I won't betray who my father was," she told Cole. "You stay? We finish this." Then came the call. Lily had suffered a severe asthma attack at school. The hospital hours were long and heavy. Vivian stayed. When Lily woke, it was Vivian's hand she held. "Don't go," Lily whispered. "I'm right here," Vivian said. Something shifted that night. Days later, Lily recovered. The board meeting was delayed. Vivian uncovered the truth. Gerald Fitch had orchestrated everything. Cole's downfall, the stolen designs, all of it. Vivian confronted him. Then she recorded his confession. That night, Cole finished the Ferrari. The engine roared to life, rich and full, like a voice returning after years of silence. Then he found something else. A hidden compartment. Inside, a letter from her father. Vivian read it with trembling hands. He told her how proud he was, how much he loved her, how he believed in her. "Take care of my girl." It ended. Not the company. Her. She wept until there were no tears left. Then they drove to Pebble Beach. At the event, Vivian stood before the crowd. "This car was saved by Cole Harrove," she said. "A man this industry tried to destroy." Then she told the truth. Every detail. Every lie exposed. Fitch was arrested. Reiser was confronted. The board reinstated Vivian's authority. Cole was offered everything back. He declined. "I have a garage," he said, "and a daughter who needs me home." 6 months later, Harrove and Marsh Restoration stood thriving. Lily was healthier. The garage was bigger. Life had changed. One autumn afternoon, the three of them sat on the hood of the Ferrari. "I think my father would have liked you," Vivian said. "I think I would have liked him too," Cole replied. "Can Miss Vivian come to my birthday?" Lily asked. Cole smiled. "I think she might be around for a lot more than that." The Ferrari gleamed in the sunlight, whole again. Some engines break down because they're old. Some because they've been neglected. But the ones worth saving